Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It is Friday, thank goodness. Gators play Sanford tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. We had an NFL game last night. I went to bed at halftime. We're going to have JC today. We'll have Mark Long from the Associated Press, second portion of the program. Let's go straight to the Titanamore hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Good morning, JC. How are you?
Good morning, QB. Glad the the end of the week is here. Last night we had a pro game. I watched about 10 minutes of it. Honest to God, I don't know why I didn't watch more of it. I think I was caught watching tennis, to be honest with you. But so we got a game tomorrow night here with a directional team that had some issues last week with a school from West.
Sanford is not a directional.
Not directional.
There's no damn east, west, or north in their name. That's what a directional team is, JC.
You're right. So what would you call them?
They're an FCS team is what they are.
Well, I know that, but
they're usually a pretty good one, but I don't know how good they are this year, regardless. Okay, so before we jump into that, I got some stuff we got to clean up here. I got a million texts. I picked a few out when I woke up early this morning. First of all, this is a text from Jonathan up in Nashville, Tennessee. He said he wanted to know our thoughts on the NFL now not singing the national anthem, but having the lift every voice and sing sung before every game. Okay. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what any of that means. Oh, they did. Okay. So Zach, but what is the lift every voice and sing song that they sing, Zach? You got any idea? Okay. All right. Well, all right. So they did do the national anthem. Okay. Because I was getting ready to raise hell if they didn't. All right. We'll skip over that. Thanks for the text, though.
I mean, if they want to play all their games in Mexico or England, go ahead. I mean, I can live without it, but I would like him to honor America.
I don't get it either. Yeah. Matt on the Titanamore text line says, don't forget last time a 4-5 Sanford team visited the Swamp in 2021, coming off losses to UT Martin and Mercer. We gave up 52 points, 530 yards.
That's not happening.
Scored 70. He says Mullen celebrated like it was an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And was gone 8 days later.
Yeah, I remember that.
I hope this 2024 Gator team playing defense like we saw last week isn't chalking this up as an easy win. Saturday could be rough. Thanks for the text.
I just don't see that, QB. This is not 2021, first of all. Secondly,
well, the 2021 team I think was better than this team.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's been one game, QB. I think we're going to have about 60,000, maybe 65,000 fans.
No chance.
No chance. Really? No chance.
I don't think so. I think people are so upset.
They bought the tickets already.
By the way, they what?
They already bought the tickets. They're not going to eat them.
Okay, you want to do an over-under on that?
Well, yeah. Okay, so how would we know?
We wouldn't, because they're going to announce 87,922.
Right. So
I'll tell you what. You won't be there. I will send you pictures of the stadium.
All right. Well, don't send them 45 minutes before kickoff.
I won't. I'll send them to you when it kicks off, or even like midway through the first. All right. This is from Paul on the Titanamore text line in Pensacola. Right. He says it's an urgent text.
Urgent alarms.
He said next week get Shane Doring, the head ball coach, and all the current passing game personnel and lock them in the indoor practice field and give them a crash course on the passing game. It would not matter. I've stated it multiple times on here. JC, would you tell me what I've told people about that?
Yeah, it would not.
Let me see if you've been paying attention.
I have been. You talked about that kid that didn't run in the flat on the hot read.
That's not what I'm talking about.
You talked about bad post patterns. You talked about bad protection. You talked about schemes, the schemes that didn't make sense to you. You didn't understand that they didn't expose the weakness of the defense.
Okay, I did say, you are listening, but you're not listening to what I've been telling our fans and our loyal listeners. I could take everybody in all over the world if we wanted to have an hour podcast on just how we teach the passing game, where you're trying to attack the weaknesses. It doesn't matter. You either have the instinct to do it or you don't.
Right.
So my point to the story is there's tons of players that play for Steve Spurrier.
Yeah.
That probably that know his system and know the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean they can call a play though.
Right.
Does not mean they could call one play at the boys club.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like you were saying. You're either born with it or you're not. As an offensive play caller.
You either have it or you don't. It's just like great hitters in baseball. You either have it or you don't. That's why JC, they took his number off the wall at U-Holtz.
They painted over it. But
they painted over.
The thing is, QB, that you would hope that as time goes by, that this isn't a on-the-job training type of job at UF. You know what I mean?
Well, it can be from now on. It can be.
Right, and that's what it's felt like. And I'm just kind of sick of it too. And you're right. I mean, either you can do this or you can't. You can maybe learn some things and get better. I think that could happen. Evolution does happen. But after a sample size of this size, I've made my decision. They just don't.
Yeah. I watched the first half of the game and I'm amazed.
Right.
And just get so excited every time I watch the Chiefs play.
Because
they put in so much fun stuff, so much cool stuff. Just a 3-yard motion just gets the defender off his guy for free access for a slant that turns into 40 yards.
And he reads a genius, dude. He's a great play caller, and everybody knows it.
All right, so 31 M. Bird tells me that the lift, voice, and sing song is the Black national anthem.
All right.
Okay, I've never heard of that song. I don't understand that at all.
What country do they live in? I mean, this is America. We all live.
Yeah, why do we have multiple national anthems?
I don't know. I've never heard of that. But whatever. Listen, that's fine. Call me what you want. I don't care. I didn't know that though.
I didn't either. That's the first I've heard of it. All right, let me get to a couple more of these texts here. Daryl says at the end of the third quarter, they should play Tom Petty Free Falling.
Oh, Lord.
Gators I've said this multiple times on here, not that it has any correlation, but ever since we started the whole Tom Petty won't back down thing, we have not been a very good football team.
It's been miserable. Yeah. Usually people are in a good mood. I do remember the Utah season opener 2 years ago, and after that, the stadium was really hopping great. But I've never really been into it. I've never been into that tradition. I didn't know why. I guess I'm not a big music guy. I like music, but I'm not it's not my life. That's for sure.
Well, you like Dixieland Delight, don't you?
I like it, but I could go without it too. I
actually do like that a lot. Okay. All right, here's a text from Mike in Tennessee. He says, Shane, I know you play Willie Jackson. Do you still talk to Willie? Yes, I do. This was a post by his son. Do you know anything? It shows something. This post was from like 2 years ago, Mike. And of course, people go back and post it. He was flipping the bird to, I think, 2 years ago to LSU when they played here. So don't make anything out of that. This is from Hunt on the Titan MR text line. Shane, what are backup QB's responsibilities on game day? You always hear about them holding a clipboard. Nobody holds a clipboard. I played 30 years ago and I never held a clipboard. I think they used to do that before my time. You don't really have any responsibilities. I tell you, when I was a backup quarterback, I had the earpiece in, whether the OC was on the sideline or in the press box, I was constantly in his ear saying, we need to do this, we need to do that.
Yeah.
That's just how my mind thinks. All right, Lynchburg, Virginia. Monty says, have you heard anything about the latest controversy regarding college marching bands? Yes, evidently the bands are being told not to play on third down and substituting the band's music with piped-in music. It's a big deal going on at Florida State right now, JC. Those people are trying to take the tomahawk chop thing away, which is ridiculous.
Good luck with that. Good luck.
No, they don't do it now on third down. They don't let the band play or anybody, and they play this DJ music.
Ugh.
But we're not the only people going nuts.
It's turning into freaking pro football. I don't want that. I want school traditions.
Okay, here's a text. This is from Joshua in Nashville, Tennessee. He says, looks like the entire university is free falling. I saw a publication from the Wall Street Journal now ranks UF as the number 34th public university in America.
All of that is just a bunch of clickbait, dude. Even when it said they were ranked 4th in the nation or 5th.
We were number 1 a couple of weeks ago last year.
According to some guy. Okay. So I don't buy into any of that nonsense. I think a kid could get just as good a BA from any other SEC school because it's a bachelor's degree. I don't get into these arguments with this
Fred,
stuff.
Okay, we'll move on in just a second. Fred on the Titan Tomorrow text line says, the NFL game last night ended with controversy. The Ravens tied the game on the last play and the refs took it off after replay.
Really?
Ravens are pissed.
Ooh.
Game of a toe. I didn't see it. I do know this. JC, you missed this. So I guess the emphasis for these damn officials this year are your tackles, being in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they called it 4 times in the Ravens' first drive of the game. The Ravens still score, but they call it 4 times. Okay. Chiefs get the ball, right? Jawan Taylor, former Gator, literally lines up in the backfield on every play, and it wasn't called 1 time.
Chiefs get calls, dude.
Yeah.
Chiefs get calls.
Interesting.
They've been getting calls for a couple of years now in Kansas City. That's just the way it is. They got to protect their meal ticket, number 15. And it's okay. I mean, he's great. He's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. But are they going to win 3 in a row, QB? Are they going to win 3 in a row?
I would bet against them. Listen, incredible. This is Pat Mahomes' 7th year.
I know.
Think about this. In 6 years, he has won 3 Super Bowls, lost a Super Bowl, and the other 2 times lost in the AFC Championship game.
It's unbelievable. I don't know if I've ever seen her. I don't think there's ever been a run like this. I mean, I know Brady's got 6, or does he have 6? 6 or 7, but
Brady won 7. He went to 10.
7, yeah.
But he also played 20-something years. I'm telling you, I think he's going to break it.
You think he'll break Brady's record?
I think he'll go to at least 10 Super Bowls. Hell, he's been to 4 in 6 years.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing what we're seeing right now in Kansas City. And that pretty much this division is it's theirs to lose, as you know. Maybe the AFC for that matter.
Chandler on YouTube, right about Quiet Phone, says, Shane, can you break down the 3rd and 5 from UF's first drive? Lots of complaints about it, even though the numbers are clearly there. I don't even remember what happened.
It was a run play, just run left. And he did it twice on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and Miami was waiting for it. 6 guys waiting in the box, dude. It was and then
he said the numbers were there, so obviously we didn't block it right. I don't think you're talking about the same thing, JC.
Maybe not, but 3rd and 5 sticks out in my head twice when he just gave it to a guy 5 yards behind him, and Miami was on top of him in about a half a second. It's like they knew what was coming, QB.
Oh, so Fred sent me a picture of what their Ravens are complaining about. I guess they caught a touchdown in the back of the end. His foot's out. If his foot's on the white line,
well, then
that's the right call, in my opinion.
He's out of bounds. You got to have 2.
The right call.
You got to have 2. The other thing that irritated me, QB, and I know we've talked about this enough, but I just hate these roughing the passer penalties. When the guy's standing there and you got to hit him, I mean, why do you do that? Why do you do that, QB?
Yeah, this is from 941, says Khalil Jackson isn't on the latest depth chart or injury reports while they were asking. I love Khalil, but he's more of a backup receiver, in my opinion. But what do I know?
Yeah, I mean, what do you know, QB? What does anybody know at this point? Here in Gainesville, where it rains every day. Rainsville. Look at it.
That is true.
It's just everywhere.
All right, so we got an NFL game tonight. We got the Packers and the Eagles over in Brazil.
How do you think those guys felt knowing that they had to fly 10 hours to Brazil?
I don't know.
Go play a football game. I mean, what is the NFL doing this for? I'm trying to figure this all out. I get the one in London, maybe. Now it's 2. Before you know it, it'll be 3. They'll probably play a game in Germany. Then they'll play a couple games in Mexico. Then they'll probably play a game in Madrid. Then they'll probably play a game in Paris. And then, Tokyo's next. So there you have it. Have fun, guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a season ticket holder with my team playing all those home games over there. That would bother me.
Yeah, that does suck. There's no question about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jacksonville does it every year. Home game in London. Okay.
Michael wants to know how I see tomorrow's game playing out. They'll beat Samford. I don't think it's going to, I don't think we're going to run right through them. I really don't.
You're not excited to watch this quarterback debut?
No, I'm excited to see DJ. I think DJ will run around and make plays with his legs, off schedule or not being comfortable in the pocket and just take off running.
You think they'll win
fine.
You think they'll win the way those schools did last week, like Ole Miss and Alabama and
no.
You don't think they'll win like that?
No.
You don't. So you think Samford's going to score plenty of points tomorrow?
I don't know if they're going to score plenty of points. I know the only thing I know about Samford is that the same coach has been there for 10 years. They run the air raid offense.
Okay.
They usually put up a bunch of points. I said, I saw they lost to West Georgia. I know nothing about
West Georgia. I don't even know where that is. Yeah, I thought
it's West Georgia.
Thought that
it's not East Georgia. It's in West Georgia.
The joke in Tuscaloosa County is that Auburn is West Georgia. But I get it. The Wolves. They're called the Wolves. The Wolves.
West Georgia Wolves.
Wolves. Yeah. Watch out. Yeah. Tough opener. Tough opener for Samford going to West Georgia, playing West Georgia and then Florida. It's not easy. I don't know, man. I think you could see a 40-50 number thrown on the board against Samford. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, you should score 40.
Yeah,
you should.
Or 50. Sure. Yeah. This will be the only game you get that's probably going to happen. So,
Joseph says Basement Billy will be booed if Samford scores more than 20 and we don't win by 20.
Basement Billy.
Basement Billy.
I've been told now that there are basements in Florida, but nobody's ever showed me one. So I've been here for basically 50 some odd years of my life.
Somebody told me they had a basement in
I heard somebody tell me last night that there was a basement here. Somebody had a basement here in Gainesville. Absolutely.
There's no way. But this was down off the turnpike.
Yeah.
What is that? I don't know if it's still. Is it Mission Hills? Mission?
Yeah.
What is that town it's in?
Oh,
somebody told me there were basements down there. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
does it matter?
Basement Billy.
It's not. 31 Ember says, does JC have a West? He obviously does not have a West Georgia hat because he didn't even know where it was.
I couldn't tell you where they were. I think they're in Rome, Georgia, Roswell, something like that. But I have no idea.
Florida Victorious, proud NIL partner of the Florida Gators, joined today to help make Florida victorious. All right, JC.
Yeah.
Let's do our Peachland Dental.
Yeah. This
picks.
is what everybody's
That's fun stuff. Let's do something fun. Let's quit being miserable.
Okay.
Gator Nation is the #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas.
So miserable.
Go visit them at peachlanddental.com.
Okay. All right.
I can't tell you.
The misery couple.
If I had $1, Mount Dora is it.
Mount Dora.
If I had $1 for every text message that not on the Titan MR text line, but on my personal,
you'd be retired. You'd be retired.
I literally what's the problem? What's going to happen? I mean, people think this is what's crazy.
They come to you for answers.
But JC, here's the thing. All I do is I work for Learfield. I'm the color analyst calling the game.
You watch every single play.
I go to about 3 or 4 practices a year at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Then I don't have time. But
that's right.
You don't get anything from practice. That's why these people are like, I wish we could go to practice. You're not going to know a damn thing from practice. Okay. I hated practice as a player because there's a lot of players that suck in practice that when you turn on the lights, they're damn good players.
Number 7.
Danny Werfel.
Number 7 was that guy. Yes, he was.
I had a receiver named Harrison Houston.
Oh, I remember.
That literally, I don't think he ever caught a pass in practice.
Yeah.
He dropped everything. And coach be like, all right, just make sure you catch it on Saturday.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing is that Keith Jackson called him Houston Harrison once. But Houston Houston would stink at practice and play well on game day. So coach didn't care about the way they practiced. I mean, Danny wasn't great at practice, apparently, according to reports. But he played on great.
Some coaches are different, man. It's how you're wired. when I've been coaching, a guy drops it. I guess it's because the guy played for it. All right, just make sure you catch it.
Yeah.
In the game. That's all.
But you know that's the guy you want out there on Saturday, right?
Yeah. And you're going to drop passes. You're going to make bad throws. You're going to miss blocks. It happens. But all right. So let's get to our Peachland Dental picks. By the way, JC, I'm 1-0 in the NFL. You're 0-1.
Yeah, I know. I had the stupid Ravens who got robbed at the end, right? Anyway, it doesn't mean they would have won, whether that was a touchdown or not. So, yes, I'm 0-1. Well, why don't we start with tonight's game then? Green Bay and Philadelphia down there in South America. I'm going to take the Eagles. They're laying 2.5 points. That's a field goal. I think I can cover that. Give me Philly.
Give me the Go Pack Go.
Yeah, you love Jordan Love. He's your guy. Yeah,
I do like him. Yeah, I like their offense.
Quite a player. Oh, well, LaFleur's, he comes from that Andy Reid world. He does. He absolutely does.
Sean McVay, all those guys.
All those guys. Yeah. What was his name? Mike. The old guy, Coach Seattle. Mike
Holmgren.
Holmgren. That's the same. He taught Andy Reid. All right. Let's go with the SEC. This is a full weekend of games. A lot of mismatches this weekend, but a lot of really good ones. We're going to start with the Bobby Petrinos going to Oklahoma State. And I say the Bobby Petrinos because Arkansas has a guy that can call plays. And Arkansas is going to put points on the board regardless. I don't know how Florida let that guy just slide away. But anyway, he's in Arkansas now. Bobby Petrino's your guy. He's going to end up being a coach of that team probably one day. And they're getting 7.5. What do you think?
Oh, man. I don't know enough about the Hogs.
I don't either. But I'm taking the 7.5. Hell with it. I think Okie State's good. They're going to win the Big 12 or close.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good too, man. I'm going to go with the home team. I wish it was more like 6.5 or 7. I'll just be different than you.
Okay.
Arkansas is going to have to show me.
Well, QB, I want you to pick these games as if you're putting your life savings on them. Be serious. This is the Peachland Dental.
Okay, serious. I will take Pistol Pete.
All right.
And Boone Pickens.
That's very serious. All right, South Carolina. A lot of people grumbling up there in Columbia, even though they won their game, but not a lot of folks are happy with Little Shane. And South Carolina's at Kentucky. And Kentucky with Vandergrift, your guy, Brock. By the way, Brock didn't play last night for Belhaven. I'll just have you know. And Tony was pissed off like you wouldn't believe. I bet you Kyle was throwing his cane. But anyway, Brock, the other Brock, Vandergrift.
Yeah, I have not seen Kentucky play. All I know is that I predicted on my show that Old Dominion would beat.
You did?
The Gamecocks. And
almost did.
They had plenty of chances. They turned it over inside the 10 like 4 times. I think Kentucky woodsheds the Gamecocks.
Yeah, I do too. Physical.
Woodshed.
Yeah, I think that's 3 touchdowns. Let's go to the plains of West Georgia where Cal is playing Auburn. Anyway, Auburn's laying 13. You think the folks up in Auburn are happy that Hugh Freeze is their guy, or do you think they're still waiting him to prove it? What do you think?
No, they're probably happy. You know that they play like 6 straight home games, and then like the whole month of October they don't have a home game.
What a schedule! That exhausts my. If I were a fan at Auburn, I would be exhausted going to 6 straight games. Think about that: 6 straight weekends of football.
Auburn struggled against this team last year on the road.
They did.
There.
They're better this year, QB.
They are. Cal stinks, but I just until Auburn can blow somebody out, I'll take the Cal Bears.
I am taking Auburn. I think they figured it out. South Florida and Alabama. Now, South Florida's a better team. They've had a good year last year. Your guy, what's his name? Rolsh. What's his name?
Adam Golsh.
I
forgot his.
Yeah.
They're going to go 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
The key is they got to get some first downs. If they go 3 and out like in 35 seconds, it's going to be a long day.
I think I'm going to take the points, even though I know my school's going to win. I like 31, man.
I like the Bulls to Naquan Wright, former Gator, is still playing for them.
Okay.
I swear I feel like he came in like 2 years before my son became a freshman.
Probably did.
They were buddies on the team, but I'll take the Bulls.
That's a lot of points, 31. Alabama, I'm a little concerned about defense, whether they can get off the field when the games get important, like in a week. Tennessee and NC State is a great game, but we're going to skip that real quick. Go that in a minute, and I'm going to just get another one. I'm doing all these SEC games. Oklahoma's laying 28 to Houston. Houston's God. They're so bad.
They're really bad. OU rolls them.
Okay, well, we're going to put that down. All right, now we go to Tennessee and NC State. Big game in Charlotte, right? I think it's almost as close to Knoxville as it is to Raleigh. So Tennessee's going to have about a 65-35 fan advantage, if you can believe that, and I can. And I think Nico Iamaleava,
Malova. They call him Nico.
Nico. I want to know his last name, though. I can't say it. I say it in the car I'm driving because I hear it on the radio, and then I forget it. Iamaleava.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Tennessee is really, really strong. And I think Tennessee is a team that can threaten in this league. And they're giving 10. That line's gone from 6 to 10, QB.
It's I tell you what, NC State's going to play them tougher, I think, and people think. I mean, NC State's a ranked team. They're going to compete for the ACC, but I'll drink the Kool-Aid on Nico, and I'll go with the Vols. Although I could see them winning this game 35-28.
Yeah, Nika, what about Grayson McCall? He's the last trash touchdown. He's going to backdoor it. I'm going to take NC State to be different with you. You're taking Tennessee. All right, this is a strange game, but I like that they're having this game. It's at 10:30 at night, which means you'll be missing most of it. But when you get home from the Florida game, you'll probably get to watch most of it as well. Arizona State, I was surprised at how easily they won last week. They're playing the Bulldogs of Mississippi State in Tempe. So that's a hell of a trip for the Bulldog fans to go out to Phoenix and have a great week. And they're getting 5.5. I just don't know yet what to think because it's just too early. So I don't know what to do in this one.
Well, they're going to score points, and they got speed, and they got a quarterback that knows this system, Blake Shapen.
That's what I'm going to do.
I know nothing about Arizona State. I'm just going to go with
State.
The Dogs.
The Dogs. Getting 5.5. Let's go. All right, a couple quick ones, then we'll get to the game of the week. First of all, in the Big Ten, Maryland, I think they looked pretty physical last week. They pushed around somebody, beat them badly. They're laying 9 to Michigan State. I'm going to take Maryland. You like Maryland? They're at home?
Yeah, I saw some clips of Michigan State. I think they were playing FAU the other night.
Yeah, they were.
Wasn't it like a Friday night?
Yeah, it was FAU.
You talking about bad quarterback play?
Bad quarterback play. A little physical on defense, but bad quarterback play. I'm taking Maryland. How about Kansas at Illinois? Kansas got a good quarterback. They're going to threaten for the Big 12. Illinois is at home, though, and they're catching 4.5. Who do you like?
Illinois quarterback's the transfer from Ole Miss, Luke Altmaier. This is what, Brett Bielema's like third year maybe?
Yeah, Brett Bielema.
I like them at home. I don't think they win the game, but I think they keep it close.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to take the Jalen Daniels and the boys. I love Lance Leipold. What a great coach that guy is. What he's done there is incredible when you think about it. Nebraska is laying 7. I know you're taking them to beat Deion.
I think they're going to roll.
Raiola.
I think defensively they're really good, Nebraska.
And their quarterback's not bad. This kid.
Well, he's a true freshman. He'll struggle, but
think he'll struggle.
I would think they run it. They get physical with Colorado and they go downhill, and I think the Buffs will have trouble. We saw that with the Bison.
All right, so that's laying 7, and then the game of the week, which I just don't see how Michigan keeps up with the Longhorns. It's a 7-point spread. The game has been going back and forth between 7.5 and 7. If you can catch it at 7, and you love Texas, and you think that they'll just outrun these guys, then you take them. But Michigan's at home with a really good defense, QB. What do you do there? That's 7 points.
I mean, Texas is the better team, but it doesn't make sense. Michigan's struggling. They've played one game. They weren't great on offense. Defense, they're going to be stout.
Very stout.
This is a huge game for Sarkisian. He has to win this game. You can't go lay an egg.
Well, it's like the Alabama game last year. I think I see the same type of game. I really do. I think that's
I'll lean towards I think the Longhorns, they'll find a way at the end to pull away. I think they just have too many skilled guys on offense.
I'm going that route too. I think if you like a parlay on moneyline parlay, you go with Texas and you go with Tennessee, and you will win your money back. All right, let's go with 3 pro games. Sunday, the NFL is in full swing. We had the Green Bay game tonight. We had the Kansas City game last night. My Jags, season ticket holder, Jags plus 3.5 at Miami. That's not enough, is it?
I'll take the Dolphins at home.
Yeah. Trevor's got to play better. He's got to play better. Maybe they'll get the ball out to Christian Kirk. Maybe they'll get the ball out to that kid from LSU. What's his name? Brian Thomas Jr., somebody like that. I'm just gonna be a homer here. I'll probably lose it, but I'll take Jags. My other team, the Rams, are at Motown. This was a great playoff game last year. I think the refs stole it from the Rams. Of course, I'm a bitter fan, but this was a very close game in the playoffs last year. The Rams had them. The Rams had them right here, and they let the Lions get away. It's Detroit laying 4.5, and I'm taking the Rams. I think the Rams are going to win 10 games this year in the NFL.
I think the Rams are good too, but I'll take the Lions at home.
All right, and then we end up with one more: Detroit and the Redskins. I'm sorry, Tampa Bay and the Redskins, the Commanders, whoever.
Where's the game at?
Whatever they want to be called.
Where's it at?
It's in Tampa, 3.5.
I'll take the Bucks.
This is Jaden Daniels' debut there, my man.
Yeah, I'll take the Bucks at home.
All right, you got it.
All right, JC, we got to get to Mark Long and actually talk about something worthy. All right, that's JC. Have a good weekend on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Quick timeout, come back. We have Mark Long. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the Morning. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Gridiron sponsors, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Electronics World, F45. Our touchdown sponsors, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Aikido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, MG&A Wealth, Nest and Wild.
If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogra State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ograinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Yeah, that guy's out of bounds. I don't care. I don't know what they're arguing about. He's out of bounds. All right, let's go to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We're joined by the Associated Press. Mark Long covers the mighty Gators and the Jags. Good morning, Mark. How you doing, bud?
Hey, good morning, Shane. How are you?
Doing well. Let's start with the Gators first. Boy, we were talking before we came on air. It's exhausting right now. I mean, it's the same questions over and over. I got a million texts here people have already sent in for you, Mark. Let's just go ahead and start with this one. This is from Jimmy. He wants to know, Mark, how long does Billy last?
Right out the gate.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the schedule, Shane, and you look at these 2 bye weeks, and they're like beacons going, okay, if you're going to make a change, that's where you make a change. And it probably depends on where they at in the first bye week. If they're 3-1, you're not doing anything. If they're 1-3, maybe you pull the trigger after the first bye week. If not, I would circle October 26th or actually October 20th, the day after homecoming, the day after Kentucky. And that's the one I would at least pencil in as that's a strong possibility. Kentucky would be a spot, right? They're 0-2 against Kentucky. He hasn't even been competitive in those 2 games. If you see this thing and it doesn't unfold the way you hoped it would, maybe that's an opportunity after Kentucky. If he goes 0-3 against Kentucky, you put that like a big albatross around his neck, and that's kind of what you're hanging with.
My question to you is, a lot of people love Billy Napier. There's no question about it. Great human being. I think he has done a lot of good stuff for the program, but it always comes back to he should have hired an offensive coordinator. Okay, I get it. And people get on to me because I already said the offense wasn't the problem. It wasn't the problem when you look at the three phases from last year's game. Special teams was terrible. Defense was terrible. Offense was the best thing, so it wasn't the problem. Was I ever in love with the play calling scheme? No, but it wasn't the problem. But don't you think not only should he have possibly hired an offensive coordinator, everybody overlooks the defense. I don't know if we're any better on defense. What do you think?
Worse. I think they might be worse on defense. I think, and it's funny. I said this going into the season, they couldn't possibly be worse after the last 4 years of defense, and especially the last two. It's been so bad. My hope for this team was that I was pinning a lot of it on they could not get worse defensively. And then I go out there and you watch, and it's like zero pass rush, some issues in the secondary again. And it's maybe not worse, but it certainly isn't a whole lot better, if at all better. And now you're talking about the sixth game in the Billy Napier era where they've given up 500 yards. That's just mind-boggling. That's not supposed to happen at Florida. And so, yeah, defense is atop the list as the number one issue. Play calling / Mickey Mouse offense is a really close second, maybe 1A. Special teams looked good, right? They put all this attention on special teams, and it looked the part finally. But now you start to wonder, well, if you did all that on special teams, why didn't you do that on the offense or the defense? So it really is just, it looks like it's over for him, and it looks like he's in over his head. And we've given him every opportunity, right, to kind of right the ship. I don't think he hired the right defensive coordinator to come in there. And obviously he didn't do the right thing on offense.
Mark's question on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. If they were to make a move, who would be the interim coach?
I mean, Dan Enos, I think, because he's got head coaching experience. Ron Roberts is the executive head coach. That's just a title. I don't think you can, especially with the way the defense performed in week one. And I don't know that you can say, hey, Ron Roberts, turn play calling, defensive play calling over to Austin Armstrong and be the head coach. So I think it would be Dan Enos. He's an analyst. He got fired last year at Arkansas, but he does have head coaching experience, and you would slide him into that role, and it wouldn't change the day-to-day for everybody else.
Yeah. All right. So tomorrow night, they're going to start DJ Lagway, true freshman, number one quarterback in America. Gator. Everybody knows about DJ. I thought he did some good things the other day. It's not a concern. I hope it happens. DJ's going to drop back, probably not go through his reads and take off running, make people miss, and people are going to love that. But that's really not offense. you know what I'm saying, Mark? So I just don't know, because everybody says Billy needs a dual threat quarterback to run his system. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know, but we've seen, Graham's not a dual threat. Anthony was. So we're kind of going back to what Anthony was, and people complained about the offense then. Just your thoughts on, are you excited to watch DJ play, and how you think it will go?
I'm over the top to watch him. And again, I was disappointed that he wasn't going to get a snap in that game. In the opener, it didn't look like it, until Graham got hurt. So if DJ is Michael Jordan, right, then it's also an indictment on Billy that you had this super talented guy, sitting on the bench, and you weren't going to play him in week one. You had no plan to get him on the field in week one, whether it be in a 3rd and 5 or 4th and short or around the goal line. It didn't seem like there was a plan. Now, maybe the fourth quarter, maybe the score changed everything, but when you look at what Billy did, the rotations he did everywhere else, these guys deserve to play. This guy needs, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, whatever it was. He had no plan for DJ to be in the game. So, for that standpoint, if he's great, I think that's an indictment on Billy Napier as well. What concerns me is the comment Billy made on Monday, which was, we are going to tailor a scheme that fits his ability and experience. And so that tells me that Billy's scared to death of the fact that he's never started a game and that he's only played in one quarter of college football. And it's going to be much more of what we've seen. Short dink and dunk, maybe some quarterback keep stuff, maybe a little bit of options filled in, but it's not going to be, we're not going to get to see this guy's cannon of an arm, probably, maybe here and there. But I think you take the reins off and let this guy go play, let DJ be DJ, and see what happens.
Yeah. Brandon says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mello, a lot of talking heads have said that Florida is not the premier job that it used to be, and it would be hard to see where a big name coach would come because of the administration issues. Do y'all think it needs to be a complete overhaul from the interim president and AD down? Our main competition have admins that are all in on athletics, including NIL. Your thoughts on that?
I don't know that it needs to be you need to do a clean sweep. I do think Scott Strickland's done a lot of good things. He can raise money. He's a great face of your program. Has he botched 2 hires? Yeah, but it's hard to blame him for either one of them. A lot of people were lined up for Billy Napier, Tennessee included, and couldn't land him. Florida did. Dan Mullen seemed like a great fit early on. He didn't recruit well, and it certainly unraveled at the end. But I think you're going to see maybe some changes within the structure at UF, but I wouldn't say that I see a complete overhaul ahead. I don't know that that's necessarily the slam dunk that people think it might be, that you're going to have a new school president, new AD, and a new head coach. Again, let's factor this in too. Chip Howard just got promoted, 35 years at the UAA. He's now the COO. I think Chip will probably be more involved with this coaching hire than any time before. He's been involved before, but I think he might be in the mix in terms of leading the way on this one.
Barone 71 on YouTube says Florida needs to apply the KISS method with the defense. Keep it simple, stupid. They were very simple the other day, in my opinion. I mean, it was about as vanilla as you could get on defense. This is for Mark on the Titan Mar text line. This is from Art. He says, do you think Scott Strickland is more interested in playing Minecraft than actually getting us to the college football playoff?
Yeah, no, listen, Scott's an easy target. I get it. But again, I would not necessarily send him packing. I think he's an asset to the University of Florida. I get it. Everybody's down on Billy. Billy made some bad hires. I don't necessarily put this on Billy or even Scott. I do put it on Billy. I'm sorry. I don't put it on Scott. I put it more on Billy. And Billy hired a lot of his friends, right? He brought over Patrick Toney from Louisiana. He brought over Rob Sale from Louisiana. The big miss was bringing in Mark Hockey from Louisiana. He promised this guy he was going to take him with him from Louisiana. Huge mistake, and it really has set him back. And that's his strength and conditioning coordinator. It set him back 2 years. And even though they switched it this year, it's not going to be an overnight fix. I think a lot of people thought that was going to be an overnight fix. Billy thought it was going to be an overnight fix. And I think he even told us that, by the end of the season, people will be talking about the change at strength and conditioning being one of the big reasons that this team has improved. Well, again, I think he oversold and underdelivered, which has been his MO all year. Coaching 101, undersell, overdeliver. Billy did it opposite. He's oversold. He oversold Graham Mertz. He oversold the experience of this team. He oversold all the changes he made. And, it blew up in his face in week 1.
Yeah. Text here on the Titan Mar text line from Mike in Tennessee says, I am wondering, can they fire him with cause based on the Rashada case?
I don't think that's the case. In fact, I'll say this. Florida hired his attorney. So Florida went to bat for Billy Napier. Florida is in this thing with Billy Napier. When you do that, I think you've given up firing him for cause. Now, unless something was to come out, with this court case, or if the NCAA was to, drop a show cause on him, then maybe. But when you look at it and you look at it the way it's unfolded right now, I don't see that as a possibility.
F45 training merges 3 leading edge fitness training styles into one 45-minute functional training class. Visit f45training.com to learn more. We got Mark Long here for a few more minutes on the Titan Mar hotline, courtesy of Comfort Channel. Mark, I don't know if the press conference y'all have asked this, but it really bothers me, and we've talked about it on my program a lot. What is the reasoning behind why we substitute so many players?
Yeah, it's a fascinating it's a fascinating watch because he thinks they're Georgia. That's the only, or Alabama. That's the only excuse I can come up with because Georgia did it. I talked to an NFL scout this week, and he was at the Georgia Clemson game, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, these 10 guys I'm trying to watch for Georgia, they're out of the game on the second, third series." So I think at Georgia, it's roster management, right, Shane? You're trying to keep everybody happy. You go in and you go, okay, these guys are close. So we're going to go 2 series to 1 series, 3 series to 1 series, 1 series to 1 series, right? Some of that happens, but I don't think that's the case at Florida. I don't feel like these backups are as good as the starters. I would roll. I would find my 11 on defense and roll them. You need to build chemistry, continuity, cohesiveness, and you don't do that by switching up and throwing a bunch of freshmen in the mix every other series or whatever, every third series or what it is. Again, go look at the NFL model, and the NFL model is you're not rolling in offensive tackles every other or every third series. I mean, this is how scripted he's got it. He had it scripted to where he knew on Monday that the backup left tackle, I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Crenshaw Dixon or whatever.
Oh, Manuel, right? Manuel.
Oh.
Was going to be series 3, 6, and 9. He even rolled it out there. Like he had him. I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of scripting, but it goes to who Billy is, because if you listen to people in the building, that's kind of, they come up with the game plan, and down and distance, when they hit a down and distance at a certain part in the field, boom, he's calling that trick play that they've dialed up and worked on all week. And it doesn't matter. Feel for the game, right? You got to have a feel for the game. Subbing out Austin Barber after he's played well for 2 series, that's not having a feel for the game.
No, play your best players until they actually need an IV or need a water break or whatever. You talk about the analytics. That's the thing, and I'm a firm believer, whether I'm right or wrong, it's my opinion, that play callers have the natural instinct. You can't learn it. You either have it or you don't. And there's only a handful that are great play callers that have it. You can't teach it. Nobody will ever change my mind on that. I don't think it can be taught. A lot of people want to know here, do we have a quarterback controversy if DJ plays well this week?
You hope so, right? I think you hope. I think that's the best case scenario. DJ plays well, and the fan base is clamoring for DJ. Now, again, we saw this again 2 years ago, right? 3 years ago with Anthony Richardson and Emory Jones, Dan Mullins last year. And what did Dan do? He got so mad, so frustrated that he throws Anthony Richardson to the Wolves against the number 1 defense in the country. You would hope that Billy Napier would not take that approach and wait, and then all of a sudden throw DJ Lagway out for his first SEC start against somebody like Georgia, or maybe even somebody at Tennessee, right? You hope that's not the case. But I think that's best case scenario is that DJ plays well enough that you have that issue. I don't think it'll be a problem, because the one thing we know about Billy Napier is he's unbelievably loyal, probably even loyal to a fault. That's why Mark Hockey's still on this staff. That's why Rob Sale's still on the staff. That's why Austin Armstrong's still on this staff. So he's loyal to a fault. And my guess is he'll go right back to Graham Mertz and be like, I don't want to rock the boat. We owe it to Graham, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And even if you do have a quarterback controversy, there's more issues than the quarterback position, in my opinion.
But can he solve some of your issues? If your issue is shaky O-line, we've seen this before, you go with the quarterback who can maybe, run a little bit and make some things happen. But
if you understand, you can help those guys whether you have a running quarterback or not, is my point of how to.
Sure.
My 2 favorite plays in the entire game were when DJ came in. I don't know what part of the game it was. It may have been late. We threw a slant to the left, and the very next play we threw a slant to the right. Man coverage, you can't ask for a better play. Where were those play calls when the game was still tight, 0-0? Those balls are out, and you can get them in people's hands and let them make something happen. So, all right, Mark, before we let you go, we got a bunch of people who are asking you what you think the Jags record will be.
I mean, I'm all in on the Jags. Here's the problem. I was all in on the Gators. Somebody asked me, what's the over-under on wins for Gators and Jags a month ago? And I said, I'll put it at 17.5. That's what I put the over-under on in wins. I thought 8 for the Gators and 9 for the Jags, and I'd take the over if you knew you pressed me on it. Now all of a sudden, I think 2 or 3 might be in play for the Gators, maybe 4 or 5. And but I'm pretty bullish on the Jags. I think they've got all the pieces in place. They added enough in the offseason to make them better, fill some holes. Last year they were 8-3, and it just kind of unraveled with some injuries to the quarterback. So if they can keep Trevor Lawrence healthy, I mean, there's no reason they shouldn't win, 10 easy in the regular season.
All right. Let me get to this couple of texts here. This is from James in Memphis. He says, Mark, if they were to get rid of Billy Napier and whoever the new coach is, do you think the new coach will have all those analysts in the building?
Not as many, right? I think Billy has more than most people. I was talking to Will Muschamp the other night. He's like, it's unbelievable. It's out of control. He's like, we go into team meetings and we'll have 60 people in the room. 60 people in a room.
You mean a staff meeting?
A staff meeting. And so they have 60. Billy's got 150, right? Or it's out of control. But even at 60, Will's like, you don't even know half the people in the room. You don't know what their role is. You don't know who that. He's like, it's totally out of control. I think it probably needs to be dialed back, but I'm not sure it's going to be dialed back, right? It's keeping up with the Joneses. And if Billy Napier gets 100 or 150, whatever the number is, the next guy's probably going to want something similar.
Nobody will ever prove to me that it helps. The whole analyst thing started with Saban, and Saban's reason was, if I'm the receiver coach, he's going to bring in a guy that's coached a little bit, or a young guy, say Mark Long, to come in, take care of, okay, it's your job to break down these 15 receivers that we're going to recruit. That way I can focus on coaching my receivers. You break it down, say, okay, these are the 5 that we like. Now the receiver coach can look at the guys and make a decision. It takes a lot off his plate of all the little stuff that a coach doesn't need to be doing. That's why Saban did it. Now they got him for it's unbelievable. Like I said, I only go to a few practices. Those people have no idea who I am. I don't know who they are. I just stand in the corner to try to stay out of the way. It's just, there's way too many.
How could you possibly? I don't even know how you could possibly define roles for that many people, on a football field. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense at all. All right, Mark, appreciate your time. Gators will beat Samford. And then your thoughts leading into A&M's, their offense is bad, but boy, they're pretty good defensively.
Yeah, again, huge game. I think that's going to be a potential turning point here. Those 2 games back-to-back, A&M at home and at Mississippi State, probably good chance of determining Billy's fate, right? Nobody wants to blow it up early because they don't want to do that to the players, right? There's a point of you're giving up on the season. You're, flushing it all so early. Nobody wants to do that. They might have to do that, right?
Yeah. Real quick, LJ McCray. I don't know. My glasses are going bad. Do you think he gets more playing time?
He better. Yeah. But again, I thought the linebackers were the bright spot, right?
Yeah.
And linebackers were good. LJ, they got to find somebody to rush the passer. So why not get him in there? I would also do the same with Cam. I'd get Cam James more snaps, even more than what he did, and see what you got.
Joseph says, I don't know if Connor Stallions could save Billy.
That's good.
Yeah. Mark, appreciate your time. Let everybody know how they can follow you on Twitter.
At AP Mark Long is my Twitter handle. I've been pretty quiet on there lately. It's an ugly place to be these days.
Yeah, it's exhausting. That's what I like to use.
Yeah.
Exhausting. Mark, appreciate your time, my friend.
Thanks, Shane.
That's Mark Long from the AP. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Hope everybody enjoyed today's program. We'll recap everything on Monday. Have a great weekend, folks. Take care.